This is my 1987, as you all know. I wasn't going to make a video about this, but it's proven a little bit more challenging than I thought it was going to be. So I've got water in the footwell. I've had somebody try and clear out the drain lines from underneath. But what I did have done recently was a retrim. Who's that on? Here's a scrap man. It's obviously heard. So they took all the dash out, retrimmed the dash. Did an all right job. It's not the best. If I ever take this back to the UK, then I'll get it done properly there. But they basically said that they don't think the guy who did the AC, because all he did was just basically fix it so that it just blows in one direction. There's no control over it. It's either on, high, low, or off. Which, unfortunately, in this part of the world where I am, that's kind of the best we can hope for at the minute, because it's my daily driver and it's very hot when it's summer here. So anyway, we're in the winter now, so I'm just trying to fix this condensate issue. Now, they've kind of said that it must be up under here. Somewhere there's a condensate line that comes down the transmission tunnel, or gearbox tunnel as we call it. Anyway, I've taken out the carpets. As you can see, it's all a bit. Sorry, these videos aren't very polished. You can see it's slowly wearing away at all the sound deadening and stuff. I've taken out carpets, all the switches out at the bottom, trim, window switches, taking a picture of that so we don't forget what it is. And I think we've got one, should have, screw there, screw there. Now the trim that sits on top of this is fitting really badly, and I'm assuming that because this is broken, so it's kind of flaring out to the sides, which is why it's not fitting very well. So I think we're going to have to look at maybe trying to do something with that, try and fix it. I don't know what yet, but we'll have to figure that out as we go along. But anyway, what we need to do now is get this whole thing out so that we can get, like I say, behind here and see if that drain line's connected. If it isn't, then happy days, that fixes the problem. If it is, then I'm not really sure what we're going to do, but let's have a go anyway. Right, okay, so next stage, we're going to get rid of this, and there's a little screw down inside here, which is in the, sorry, this is all, I spilt a drink in there before I went on holiday. It's all gone a bit minging. So yeah, we're going to try that. Interestingly, you can see where the mounts used to be for the old phone, which I've still got, but I can't find a carrier for it, disappointingly. So I'm going to keep trying, because it'd be quite cool to have an old school phone in here. And I'm going to try that and then see what happens from there. Okay, the other thing that you need to do, obviously, is pull out this bit here, which I thought was going to be quite challenging, but it seems that it's not. So it will just be a case of undoing them bad boys, disconnecting those, which are, the same connectors as all the others. So we'll just do that, get them off. Okay, so that's out, and there's a couple of screws up in there. There's one, there's two. So we'll get them out, and then we'll see what kind of movement we've got. I don't know if we have to take this piece off yet. This piece here, I'm not entirely sure, but sorry. Let's have a look anyway. Okay, let me just show you. I'm doing a bit of wiggling here. I don't know if you can see all of the AC ducts are kind of wiggling with it, and what I'm not entirely sure about here is if they're attached anywhere. I can't find anything that says they're attached or find anything that's sticking them in place. I've done these two nuts here and it all seems fairly loose, as you can see. It's all giving it loads of that. But I'm just worried that there's something. I'm going to take a look, try and see if there's anything up under here. I don't know. I might have a quick look at the manual because I've got a history of breaking things. Okay. Oh, sorry, and on the discussion of a history of breaking things, like a complete and utter idiot, I snapped that off, which I'm absolutely raging about. Just sheer stupidity. But anyway, we'll have to see what we can do with that. Okay, so let me just show you what happened here. So this is the sidewall carpet there, and my concern is that it was fixed by something else. So this is all still in place. You've had to kind of lift it up because this kind of tucks up under there, but just a little bit of gentle bending and fettling, it seems to have come out. There we go. Hang on. So there it is on the roof. Oh shit! There's no metal bits there. I'm gonna scratch it to. Yeah, look at that. Look, fucking screw. Well, what's that screw there? Hang on. Oh, so it looks like there is a screw there that holds it in place. But in our case, there you go, and there's the hole. In our instance, it wasn't doing anything. Okay, so there we go then. Right, so we're in the footwell. This little bad boy drops out as well. This is awesome. It's just all falling apart now. Okay, what have we got? Ah, there we go. That'll be the problem then. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is the condensate drain. Or what looks like it should be the remnants of a condensate drain. Yeah. So, from everything I've looked at online, but there's no pipe in it. So that's the bit I'm a little bit confused about. This, I think, is supposed to keep the shape. And then bubbles off down there into the gearbox tunnel, as we know. If you look carefully, I mean, you can see the light. So I'm not sure what's happened here. Now, one of two things has happened, I think. Either when the guys cleaned it out, they've shoved all manner of well, they've just shoved all manner of coat hangers. I mean, the general thing is shove a coat hanger in it, bent over at the end, shove it up the hole. Now they've done that, obviously not realising there's not a tube there, and it's just basically destroyed all whatever this is here. Which is, there's no way they could have known, I suppose. So I suppose the next thing we need to do then is kind of take all of this out, take this out, try and find out where the connection is, and just see if we can, I don't know, get another hose in there, I guess. All right, let's have a look. Okay, so I've just removed a cable tie that sits around here. I just want to show you something quite cool about this, just typical Mercedes awesomeness. Right, so as you can see, they lock into place like that. But what's quite cool, don't cut them off because you can reuse them. All you've got to do is pull this back. So you kind of hold the body. I'm doing it one-handed here, so it's all a bit cack-handed. Then they undo, and the good thing about that, of course, is you can use it again after. Happy days. Okay, so we've just pulled that out. That's basically the spring, and the idea of that is it stops the pipe from becoming compressed. That there is the outlet. So when they put all this back together, actually no, that's not fair because it was always like this, so I can't really blame them. But what we need to do then is just get a piece of pipe, poke it on the end of that, shove it out the thingy tunnel, gearbox tunnel, and then we should be, or transmission tunnel, and then we should be good to go. I just need to figure out how big that is. So there we go. 15, I've got my glasses on, hang on. 3/4 inch, 15 mil-ish. So let's go and get some pipe. Fit that, I reckon about a metre will do it. Alright, there you go. So that's the pipe with all the crap taken off it. So this is the clamp that goes over it. It's a reusable one. Now, trying to get your hand, obviously doing this all one hand is a pain in the arse. Oh, it's a bit sticky in that. What's going on here then? Why is it not cut? Oh, because it's stuck on. Oh, let me clean this off. I'll come back. Right, okay, so this is the clamp that goes around the top. And the way I did it one-handed is if you kind of just, it's quite difficult to get to underneath. But if you just push it so that it sideways so that it comes out, you can release it and it will come off like this. Obviously when you're putting the new one on, snap, on he goes. Easy as that. Okay, so what I've found out, this is the that's the pipe there. This one, got my fat finger in there. This one here, so this is the one that I missed. So that one's the one on the other side, but this is the one we want because it's the left-hand side. And the part number for that, if I click on this, that's the part number that you're going to need. Now, interestingly, this is actually how they come, which is a little bit strange. So there's no actual pipe. It looks like it's just a bit of, I don't know what you call it, sort of almost like insulation with the spring inside to stop it getting crushed. And then I think if you go back to, if I show you the pictures, so that's actually the pipe there. So this bit here is a hard connection which goes onto the side of the unit, and then this bit here is that kind of mesh thing that I was just showing, like the insulation with the spring inside. So it looks like my one didn't actually, well, it wasn't that it wasn't installed, it's just deteriorated, but it's 30 odd years old. So that kind of, that makes sense. So I just got to try and find one of them now. Right then, so after a couple of weeks of being patient with my Mercedes main dealer, ta-da, there's the pipe. That's what all the fuss was about. So it hasn't got the, see, it hasn't got the spring in it. Now, I've read a couple of forums and they seem to think that you should put it in. So there's the end that goes on. So I think I'm going to see if that old spring will go back in. Let's have a look. So what we did do is we bought some just some ordinary pipe. And now, ironically, if I just hold that there, you'll see that that falls down. So there's the pipe, and ironically the one that we've just got in is pretty much identical in size. You can see there's not really much in it, but the secret and the problem is it's so tight down there in the footwell, which you can't see because it's not in focus. That is all so tight, kind of down here where it runs. This is the secret, because when I tried to put the pipe that I'd bought in, obviously the bend radius on it isn't that tight, and you just couldn't get it back in. Well, to be fair, I didn't really try, because I managed to get it on the outlet of the AC. I could get it on, no problem, but I couldn't get it to go through the floor. So, but there we go. Anyway, it's all in. So let's get this bad boy on anyway. So there we go. Okay, so we've took the old spring, we've wound it in. It was a bit tough, to be fair, and I could only get it to. Hang on, Bubba. I could only get it to about there. So it's most of it. It was just too tight, and I had to put. You can see there's like a transfer piece there, so it's about there. But I had to put a little bit of WD-40 down it to get it in. But I reckon that'll do. So we've got our trusty reusable clip. We're just going to try and get it on now. See how that goes. Okay, so that's it in. I even managed to get the little clip up the back there. I don't know if is it zooming in on that? Oh no, I'm not sure. Anyway, it's a pain in the arse. But that's in. It's poked through the floor there. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the centre console and I'm going to run it for a day or so, get the AC working, just to check that there's no more leak before I put everything back together. So we'll crack on with that now. Right, so we've got that's jammed back in, it's not fixed, and obviously I broke those two bits there, which is a bit of a shame, but we'll figure that out. But it's only in temporarily. Engine's running, AC's on. It feels, unfortunately, a little bit warm. So I've got a horrible feeling it might need to go for a regas. So we'll drive up to the garage and get that done, and then we'll see how we go from there. So we've just had the AC checked, and it appears that the cooling coil behind the dashboard and all of this little box of tricks in here has a leak. They double triple checked it. It's they isolated the incoming and outgoing lines, and it's definitely the cooling coil, which is hugely annoying, since, well, I mean, it's not really, I suppose, because better we find out now than not. But what's annoying about it is that all of this was taken out about 6 months ago to get, when we got all the upholstery done, and the dashboard, all of this here had cracks in it. They took it all out, took it away, got it all recovered, and now I'm going to have to pull the dashboard again, which I've never done. So I was going to give it to those guys. What they did originally was there was a few issues with the actuators behind the dashboard, and it wasn't working the way it should have done. So what they did is they set it so that it just blows through these two vents all the time, regardless, and it's just got on or off, high or low. There's no kind of climate control that these things have, because the fans have like a variable speed for your climate control. And the idea behind that was that we would one day pull the dash, rebuild it all properly, put it all back together properly, and all that lovely stuff. So it looks like that day has now come, because if I'm going to pull this dash out to change the cooling coil in the airbox, I may as well just rebuild the whole thing properly and do all the actuators and all that lovely stuff. So, but we did have it running. There's the condenser pipe that we changed, and all the carpets are now nice and dry. There's no leaking, there's nothing like that. This carpet's obviously a bit minging. I'm going to put that in and see if I can get it cleaned up and fixed up, because I would like to try and keep the original carpets. I'm assuming they're original, I might be wrong. So I think that's going to be a wrap for this one. But obviously, if you were just finishing this, then you just put all your center console back in, do all this lovely stuff here, put the side panel carpet in there. But I'm not going to bother putting it back now, obviously, because I've got to pull all this out now to get the dashboard out. So I think we'll leave that there. The other thing we are going to do as well is we found a company. Oh, that's lovely, that. Hang on a second. the Mercedes-Benz delicate way of telling you that your keys are in the ignition. The wood. So this wood, it's all right, but it's seen better days. But you can see it's starting to chip and it's getting a bit craggy. So I found a place here that will they actually refurbish the wood and then they dip it. And I've seen some of the work that they've done, and it's actually really, really good. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to get this repaired, get it dipped while the dash is out, and I'll obviously do the cards as well. Get these done front and back. You can see that the veneer on that's starting to crack there, so I'll get that done as well. So we've got a few little projects now that were kind of kept on hold, which are now all going to be done at the same time. So yeah, let's see how that goes. But yeah, so that's the condensate drain repair, which has grown arms and legs and turned into a dash out job. But hey, that's the joy of owning one of these, I suppose.